Reconnect, rekindle, reimagine. Because somewhere along the way, you didn't lose your business, you lost yourself inside it. I know, I get it. I kind of hated my business. Once you reconnect with yourself and you rekindle your love for your business, something really amazing starts to happen. If you weren't just trying to get through another day, what would you dream about? So tell me if this sounds familiar. You built a very successful business, you're profitable, you're hitting goals. From the outside, everything looks great, but the truth is you're exhausted, you feel stuck, even a little trapped. Something inside just doesn't feel right. You don't know who you are in your business anymore. And you've been quietly asking yourself, is this it? Is this what being a successful businesswoman is supposed to feel like? Maybe you're even at the point where you're thinking, I hate my business. And that is a really hard thing to admit. But the reality is, it happens. And we give everything to our businesses, we give everything to our families, but we keep going, we keep showing up. And then one day we wake up and realize, I don't even recognize myself anymore. Not just in the business, but in our lives. But before anything can change, you have to be honest about where you are. And I know what it feels like to stand inside success and feel absolutely lonely. But here's the good news. I know how to get out of it because I did. And the first step is to reconnect, not to your business, not yet, to yourself first. You don't know what to do with this incessant voice, so you keep going. But what you really need to do is just stop and listen and pay attention. You need to reconnect to that voice inside you. You stop long enough to ask the questions you may have been avoiding. What feels heavy right now? What am I carrying that I don't even want to admit? What's wrong and what's missing in my life? Maybe the hardest question is, what do I actually want from this next chapter for myself and for my business? For me, reconnecting meant getting radically honest with my husband, who was also my business partner. We sat down and asked ourselves, who are we at our core? What do we actually value? What matters most? Because somewhere along the way, we had drifted. Our goals had drifted, and we needed to come back to each other, back to ourselves, and back to what was true for us. I also had to let go of old identities. The woman who always powered through and the woman who sacrificed everything, the woman who thought she had to carry it all. Those identities had helped me build the business, but they weren't serving the woman I wanted to become. And until I was willing to see that, nothing could change. So here's what you can do today. Ask yourself, what do I want for myself? What do I miss about me? Not just as a business owner, as a woman. What matters to me that is missing right now? What do I wish I had more of, not for my business, but for my life? Write it down, get clear, be honest, and reconnect with you first. Because somewhere along the way, you didn't lose your love for your business, you lost yourself inside it. The next step is to rekindle, and that's rekindle your love for your business. Because here's something I want you to think about. Maybe you don't actually hate your business. Maybe you've lost a connection with what you've loved about it. Maybe somewhere along the way, you ended up in a version of your business or a role in your business that doesn't even feel like you anymore. And that was me. I thought I hated my business, but when I really looked at it, I realized I hated how I felt inside my business. I hated the day-to-day grind and the constant problems, and I hated that I didn't feel excited anymore. And I hated that I had lost my passion for something I had spent decades building. And one of the biggest realizations was that I was doing things in the business that didn't fulfill me. I'm a people person. I love being connected. I love developing people. I love being part of the growth. But somewhere along the way, I had moved into the background. And because of that, I didn't feel like the team saw my value or understood the impact I was having. And that was really hard. Because this was a business my husband and I built together. We were partners. And then came a really difficult turning point. We were facing some financial challenges in the business. Some things had to change. And one of those things was our bonus structure. We didn't remove it, we only modified it, but the team blamed me. And honestly, it really broke me. I felt like the people I cared so much about turned on me. And I carried that for weeks until finally we had to remember something really important. This was our business. We were responsible for leading it. We had to make the hard decisions that protected its future. And that meant getting really honest about who belonged on the team, who shared our values, and who was the right fit for where we were going next. So we rebuilt. We got the right people in the right seats. We got clear about our roles, and we got clear about what we loved. And slowly, one small spark at a time, I fell back in love with my business. And more importantly, I rekindled myself in it. I found my place again. The person who cared about the people behind the business. And that's when everything changed. Because I mattered again and I could feel my impact again. And I fell in love with my business again. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't love my business anymore, before you blame it on anything or anyone else, ask yourself, where do I feel the most alive? What did I used to love about my business? Where have I moved away from the things that actually light me up? What role am I playing now that doesn't fit who I am anymore? And what needs to change so I can find myself in this business again? Because sometimes it's not about the business, it's about your place in the business you built. Once you reconnect with yourself and you rekindle your love for your business, something really amazing starts to happen. You can finally start to reimagine what is possible. Because when you're exhausted, when you're disconnected, when you feel trapped, the only thing you can see is getting through one more day. You can't dream and you can't imagine and you can't even see possibility because you're just trying to survive what you built. And that was why this next step was so important for us. We started imagining again. My husband and I sat down and started asking ourselves some really important questions. We started asking, what kind of business do we actually want to experience? And what kind of team do we want around us? How do we want to show up as leaders? What kind of impact do we have that we want to have in our community? And what kind of relationship do we want together, not only as business partners, but as husband and wife? How do we want to have fun? And where do we want to travel? What kind of relationship do we want with our children? What kind of life do we actually want? Those questions changed everything. Because that night we weren't just setting business goals, we were reimagining our future. The next year, everything changed. We were breaking records. We loved the culture. We loved our people. We loved ourselves inside the business again. Reconnect, rekindle, reimagine. That's what got us there. And now freedom looks different. Freedom is knowing I don't have to work, but I get to choose work that matters to me. Freedom is spending time with my grandchildren, being there for my kids, traveling, creating memories. And now we're making these videos because I want to help other women see what is possible for them too. For you. Because I was there and I know there's another side. So ask yourself, if you weren't just trying to get through another day, what would you dream about? What would you want your business to create for you? What impact would you want to have? What would your life look like if you actually allowed yourself to imagine it? But I also want you to know this is not the end of your story. This could actually be the beginning of one of the most exciting chapters of your life. Because when you're exhausted, all you can see is getting through one more day. But when you reconnect with yourself and you rekindle your love for your business, you can finally start to see a future that excites you again. Maybe that means growing, maybe that means changing your role, maybe that means creating more freedom, and maybe one day that means selling. But whatever comes next, I want it to come from joy and possibility, not exhaustion, not desperation, not because you're running away, because you're ready. And I want to help you find yourself again. I want to help you love what you built again. And I want to help you imagine a future bigger than what you can see right now. And honestly, I'm so excited to go on this journey with you because there's so much more coming. So if this felt like I was speaking directly to you, come back next week. We're just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.